We're live. And don't worry, I got lots of content coming up discussing the stuff y'all want me to discuss. So don't worry. Still a lot I want to hit on. But it's a small discussion there as to whether or not y'all think Mark Breland went too far that would well enough have been left. How do you say that shit? Would it have been better if he said nothing? I was good. Danilo, Lisa, Braveheart was good. Neil was good. Question marks was good. Do y'all think that it hurts Mark's credibility in any way, stooping down to Wilder's level and basically taking shots? Myself, I don't think it does, but I have seen a couple of mixed feelings out there from different people that they like, well, kind of doing what Wilder's doing, like, what I mean, like. Everybody know that whole thing is bullshit. Like nobody really believes it. So it's kind of like, well, why even address it when you know that most of the world thinks it's bullshit? Like nobody is believing this shit. But I'm gonna open a discussion to the floor to see what y'all think. Myself, once again, I don't think it hurts his credibility in any way. In fact, I think it was necessary because sometimes silence is an admission. You can interpret silence sometimes as an admission that if somebody's saying something about you and you don't deny it or you don't even address it, it makes you look guilty. So I think it's about time that Mark came out and said something, because what Wilder's saying is basically he's accusing him of a felony assault, or a degree of a felony assault. They're like, yo, dog, you saying he drugged you, bro. You basically saying he slipped you a Mickey. And my understanding of that is, yeah, I think more or less that's classified as a form of felony assault. It's something like that. And that's what he's accusing you of doing. What does that do to your reputation as a trainer moving forward? Does everybody need to be suspicious of you now based on what he's saying? There's grounds in there. Once again, if you got the money and you feel like investing the time, there's room in there to sue for slander. There is room in it. Like, yo, dog, you saying I drugged you. I'm your trainer. This could affect my ability to make money moving forward. So as far as I'm concerned, it was necessary that he said something. And I felt, man, he could have, if he wanted to, he could have said something sooner. He chose to be classy. He tried to take the high road, but I guess, somebody reached out to him, and it is what it is. I see Beats is right there. We're going to open the floor to Beats. About to put this link in the join. And we going to discuss this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to discuss this. Man, this hoodie. I don't understand why. I'm touching them. There you go. It's this part. This is driving me crazy, man. All right. There we go. And there we go. There you go. That's driving me crazy, man. All right, I'm gonna open the floor to Beats and yo, what's goody, Linux? What's goody, Ahmed? All right, I'm gonna take it to Beats. I'm gonna ask Beats. Beats, what you think about it, man? Do you think Mark was right to say something, or could he have just held his tongue and left well enough alone?
I'm making a video. Well, what I say is he should address the part about the spike in the water. He should address, his involvement, like stopping the fight. He was doing that in Wilder's best interest. He addressed them things, but if he's going to say Wilder doesn't train while he was overseeing the training, then why did he stay there that long? So that looks a bit weird to me. It looks a bit weird.
I kind of feel like he only addressed what he was asked. I hear an echo, Beats. I hear an echo in the background. But I feel like he only addressed what Spencer Fearon and Tunde Ajayi asked him. You see what I'm saying? Did they ask him those specific questions? Did they ask him, well, if he sucks and you oversee his training, doesn't that mean you suck? You know what I mean? Like, we're going to let Battle in on this action. Battle, what do you think about it?
I don't think he went too far. I think he kind of spoke his mind mostly on the situation. I think he highlighted I think he wanted to clear his name first and foremost for being a trainer, because that, that kind of goes against what he needs to live, which is his money. He can't just train Wilder forever. He's probably going to need to become a trainer to somebody else, and the last thing he wants to do is have his name tainted that he's a cheat and likes to drug his own fighters.
So Battle don't think he went too far. To Beats' point, I do kind of agree with that. It went from addressing, because what people are focusing on is the training shit and how funny it is. Every time this subject gets brought up, we all start laughing about shit, not realizing like, yo, the accusation that Wilder's making, though, all jokes aside, it is a serious accusation. You accusing this man of drugging you before a championship boxing match. That shit could fuck around, get you killed. And the allegation is serious. But what everybody's focusing on is the funny shit of hearing Mark say, well, this man doesn't have a jab. He doesn't even hit the speed bag. He doesn't skip rope. He doesn't do none of that shit, which, is interesting to a degree, but it doesn't necessarily address the subject at hand, because we know what the subject at hand is. Go ahead, Beats.
Well, look at it like this, yeah? He's now saying that he can't beat Fury, when I've got a transcript where he says he's going to beat Fury. So what the thing with me, I try, when relationships or friendships go bad, I try not to make all the stuff that I'm saying bad about them, that I was tolerating all the time I was friends or in a relationship with them. I don't try and bring that out of dirty laundry when it's gone bad. I've never really liked that, I can understand him talking about, like defending his square, about stopping the fight, he didn't spike the water, and maybe a few other things, but just stick to the facts, really. Dragging yourself down to Wilder's level is senseless. You know what I mean? It's senseless.
I see that. It's like, it's human nature. It's human nature that, of course, when he was on the team, yeah, man, Wilder gonna beat him. Yeah, man, he's gonna beat that guy. We got it. Of course, you're gonna say that when you're on the team, and then of course, when you're not on the team, they say, man, Wilder ain't shit, man. That dude ain't got a jab, man. He don't hit the double end bag, man. Right? He has the footwork of a newborn deer. The guy's terrible. Of course, these are things you're gonna say once y'all split.
Yeah, but after a time, like, it got deluded, like. He's got it in his mind that he had a better career than Joshua, and he didn't. I know his wins. Marlon Sterling was a counter puncher, and he's talking about his jab. Marlon walked through his jab and knocked him out. Aaron Davis did the same thing. Jorge Vaca, he knocked him out, right? And they just walked through his jab. So he's talking about this great jab he had. The truth is, his jab was good at the lower echelons of the 147-pound weight class. But when he was stepping up to the real hard men, they just walked through it.
Yeah.
His best wins are against Lloyd Hunnigan and I think there was a Colombian, it's not Cepeda, I can't remember his name. They're his best wins at his prime. But he's talking like he's some great fight. You can beat Joshua. Come on, man. Now you're sounding stupid.
That's always going to be. Look, man. I seen a guy on Twitter, and before I pass it over to Mark, I seen a guy on Twitter, and obviously a Deontay Wilder fan. He was like, "Oh well, Wilder beats everybody except Fury." Motherfuckers ain't gonna do nothing but pout, bro. It's for me, it's bittersweet because Mark is saying all the things that I've been saying, that you've been saying, that Mark has been. They're like, yo, I don't know why y'all talk about Wilder's jab because he don't show a jab. He just paw with his lead hand. He put it out there and try to line you up for a punch, but he don't really be throwing it like that. Like, nah, he ain't got like a Larry Holmes or a Ali kind of. No, he don't much. I'm gonna pass it to Mark. Mark, do you think that Mark would have been that? Oh, fuck, I'm asking Mark about Mark. Mark, do you think that Mark went too far?
No. I don't think you went too far. I think when people essentially, possibly, because we don't know, essentially slander your name to high heavens, you're going to have some things to say eventually, and it's not too far at all. What, saying Wilder can't box? That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's not going too far. I mean, 95% of the boxing population agree with him.
But Mark,
See what you're saying?
let's open it up. Let's open it up. What changes Mark Breland saying this is, well, he can't box and you used to train him. So isn't this your fucking fault? That's the question. That's the discussion. They're like, well, are you can't have been one of this guy's trainers. You say that he ain't shit and he can't box, but you used to train him. So what? So you know what I mean?
No, he didn't say he's a great trainer.
Good.
See, but saying he can't box is fair game, right? But now you're gonna start to me. When he started saying he could beat Joshua, he just sounded like a crazy person. He just sounded like a crazy. I mean, I say, I'm not gonna listen to this guy here. You know what I mean? You can't beat Joshua. You couldn't even take a whole game Barker's punches.
I mean, I'm gonna be as fair as I can.
No jab. He Barker didn't have no jab, and he beat him. But
hold on, he said he could beat Joshua. Did he say did he mention Joshua?
Yeah, Joshua, that's what he said. Yeah.
I can't wait to do that video. I'm not going to talk about none of the shit I'm going to talk about in that video here, but I can't wait to do that video.
I need because I didn't catch that. Is Breland saying he could knock out Joshua pound for pound, or is he saying Wilder could have knocked out AJ?
No, he's saying he could. Mark saying he could.
Breland saying Breland can knock out Joshua pound for pound. Yeah.
All right, I heard that.
That's okay. That's whether I agree or not. That's more of a conversation to me. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So pound for pound is different. If he's saying that Joshua was the same way, I'd accept that. But if he's saying him, he personally, like Andre Ward, is saying that he could knock him out, then he's a crazy person.
Yeah, I agree. I'm assuming. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Let me just ask Mark quickly. Is he saying if Joshua was the same weight as him, he could beat him? Or is he saying he could just beat Joshua as he is?
Well, he didn't say either, so I guess it's open to everybody's interpretation.
I would like to, I guess I'm giving Mark Breland the benefit of the doubt that he is a smart enough guy that, you know what I mean? I guess I'm just assuming he's talking pound for pound.
Well, look. Let's put it. Let's
Am
put
I
it.
being too generous? Am I being too generous?
Let's put it this way. Mark Breland said something, which is why, like I said, to me, it's not gospel. I said what I think Mark is saying, right? As far as why he's going in on Wilder now. I already did a video on that. It's already up. But I don't treat anything that anyone says as gospel because he said Joshua doesn't have a jab. And I know that ain't fucking true. He said Joshua don't have a jab. And I know
that's a bit stupid. That's a bit stupid.
But he said that, like he legitimately said that verbatim. He said Joshua doesn't have. I'm like, Joshua doesn't have a jab. What the hell are you? What the hell are you talking about? Like
compared to what? Compared to what? He might.
No, Doc. Yeah. He didn't say compared to anything. He literally made the blank statement. He has no.
Yeah, there's a lot of lack of context. You know what I mean? I'm putting this on Breland. Breland needs to put some context to some of these things I'm hearing you guys say that he's saying.
Doc, he can't put no context to it because he's all in his feelings, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
More importantly, the only reason that we're saying that it lacks context is because of how stupid it is. You know. Like if I came in the live and I said, you know, I could beat George Foreman, right? And that don't mean. Hold on. Now, what people gonna think is beat him at what? Beat him at Uno? Beat him at Spades? Because I know you ain't talking about a fight. But as far as you know, if I came in the joint and I said, man, I beat George Foreman. Yo, bro, I said what I said, so you got to hold me to that. That being said, if Mark Breland is telling me that Joshua don't have a jab, I'm going to just assume that Mark is going see now. Like, bro, you sure? Do you know who Anthony Joshua is? Have you seen him before? I'm pretty sure I've seen him.
No, ring. Hold on. Before you carry on, has anyone actually listened to the whole interview? Or are we just talking about sound bites?
I've listened to the whole thing.
I have.
To the whole thing.
Sound bites.
Okay. Because if you're listening, because some of the things that I'm hearing is like they're going off of what the sound bites were, not listening to the context of what he actually said. So
Well,
while I get what you're saying, there are some of like you're kind of blowing the wrong bits out of proportion, out of context of what was said in the interview.
Look. I'm saying I heard everything leading up to the statement where he said, Josh. I heard everything leading up to that, and I made sure to listen in after that just to see if I heard it right. And I'm not missing any context. He, in so many words, told Tunde and told Spencer that Joshua doesn't have a jab. Man, I'm like, bro, like he doesn't have a jab. What? Huh?
Maybe in his mind he doesn't have a jab. It's not really something that he can.
He said he can't box, bro. He said he can't box.
Yeah.
I mean that's not. I mean that's. I mean he's not the first person I've heard
said,
say that.
But this is based on his opinion in context to his opinion on Tyson Fury.
Yeah. I mean I'm saying it. I'm saying not in a defensive way, but I'm saying it like that's not really something that we haven't heard before. It's just maybe how he feels about it as far as in this particular moment.
Wait a minute,
a lot of Americans think Joshua can't box because he's got that European style.
Before you play devil's advocate, what I'm gonna say is the only reason that I'm mulling over those comments is because I'm not gonna treat what he says as gospel for this reason. He could feel how he feel, and you're right. He ain't the first motherfucker to say some shit like that. I thought it was stupid when I heard other motherfuckers saying this shit. So it ain't about what he said so much as don't look at anything that any one individual says. Don't look at it as gospel, because where you might agree with what he said about Wilder, do you agree with what he said about Joshua? Because I don't agree with that shit.
Which one? That he doesn't have a jab, or that he can beat him, or like
He looked at that he can beat. Well, I mean, come on, dog. Like, really, Mark Breland's gonna fight AJ? He's gonna beat him?
unless he's talking pound for pound, that's not even a conversation.
Look, this is my opinion, right? If it's pound for pound, maybe we can have a discussion. If it's not, AJ brooks him the hell up and kills the man stone dead. Here's the second part. You can't go around saying a dude hasn't got a jab when, without question, he's got one of the 2 or 3 best jabs in his division, without questioning, without even going into it. And you never had one of the top 2 or 3 jabs in your division.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I mean, honestly, when you say that, it's not that I'm just completely dismissing your opinion, but when you look at the smaller weights, that you can actually say there are a bunch of guys that have great jabs.
Did you hear what I said, or are you stupid? I said in his division.
In his division, that's what you said.
Yes, AJ in his division has one of the 2 or top 3 jabs, and you're like, no. Because if you go and you listen, if you go and you watch other weight divisions.
No, all right, everybody calm down.
It sounded like you said.
Calm down. God damn it, I'm mediating this goddamn live. Everybody calm down. To Mark's point, I think it's a valid point because it's true. Look at the heavyweight division. How many real jabbers at the world level, not even just, he showed a jab in the Sam Sexton fight. How many jabbers at the world level are there? There's AJ and Fury at the world level as heavyweights. Yeah. AJ.
People used to say Pulev had one of the best jabs at heavyweight, and AJ dissected his jab. Dissected it with his own.
But I still think he does have one of the bbest jabs in the division. I think that. Pulev, because he has great timing. He has great timing with the jab. He knows when to throw it. It's not the fastest.
Which is why I said it sounded like he said in boxing. But, if he didn't say that, then
I said in his division.
All right, cool. I mean, you don't got to go with the stupid comment, but,
Everybody calm down. AJ has a jab. All right? AJ has a jab. Fury has a jab. The point of bringing up the contrast of Mark's statements, right? Not Mark in Ireland, in Kildare, Ireland, Mark Breland. The point of bringing that up is that you can't look at everything that he said as gospel and then, overlook that. They're like, dog, you saying AJ ain't got a jab, and I know that motherfucking shit ain't true. I know that ain't true. I know you can't beat him, dog. So we're not going to treat everything you say as gospel. All he did to me was say things that I was already thinking, which is why I don't necessarily need him to validate those anecdotes, because I was already thinking that no, Wilder doesn't have a jab. I'm sorry. Y'all talking about one fight. Y'all talking about the Stavern fight. Outside of that, when the fuck has he been a jabber? All he do is just float the left hand. He just leave it out there and pour with it and pour with it. He ain't got no motherfucking piston jab. He ain't got no Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston jab. He never did. So I'm focusing on what I thought before Mark said that. And if what Mark says lines up with that, cool. But that don't mean that what Mark says is gospel. Because you just told me AJ ain't got a jab. And I know that's not true.
Now to your point, Ring, if he had said he ain't got no Larry Holmes, Sonny Liston jab, that would be one thing. That would be one thing. To tell me the man just flat out don't have a jab, I agree with you. That's I don't know where that's coming from.
We just saw him win his belts back with little more than just a jab.
Yeah. Boxing jab. Now here's the thing that I heard floating around that I found almost completely comedic is there's people saying that Mark Breland is speaking out of jealousy. that my man, two-time gold medalist, gold medalist, two-time champion, right?
Yep.
Big enough star to be on motherfucking Miami Vice, the Game of Thrones of its time, is jealous of what? Tell me what show like Game of Thrones Deontay Wilder is going to get cast for.
Dog, when I heard Wilder say that stuff, right, and I don't want to get too into it. I'm gonna prepare a video addressing most of that. But that in particular, that Mark, bro, you not even as big as Mark was. Like, no, you ain't on no motherfucker.
Hey, hold on, though. Let me defend Wilder. He's been on Housewives of Atlanta.
Ooh.
No. Don't you try to gloss over that too quick now. And that show was big now around the time.
Miami Vice, no, stop it, Battle. You're not old enough.
Unless you a housewife.
Wait, hold up. I didn't compare it to
a housewife on Housewives of Atlanta. Get the fuck out of here. You're housewife.
No. Wait. I didn't compare it to Miami Vice. I just said that was one of the best shows around time. So I put words in my mouth. Big icon. Big icon. Forgot about the big icon.
Come on.
But you get my point, Battle. You get my point. There's levels to this kind of shit.
But it's true though. Like, you can't compare being on Housewives to being on Miami Vice, dog. Miami Vice was the shit. All right, that was the shit. Real Housewives of Atlanta was one reality TV show among several. And it wasn't.
No, I didn't know. Do this. I never even watched the show, but I know everybody did. Was it not pretty much the Game of Thrones of its time? Is that not a fair?
Like, come on, dog. Like, Miami Vice was look. Miami Vice was big. Knight Rider. I'm gonna go as far as saying that I think Vice was bigger than Knight Rider.
Knight Rider had huge.
Yeah, like Knight Rider had a cult following, and we all liked the intro music. But Vice was bigger. Like, Vice had a following. Knight Rider was like, yeah, that's dope too. That's dope too with 2 O's. But Vice was big deal shit, man. Big king shit, man. Big bag shit, man. And Wilder, like, you can't look at his career and Mark's and be like, yeah, Mark. Why would Mark be jealous of Wilder, bro?
Look at the era he gold medaled in, Julius, compared to the era Deontay Wilder bronze medaled in.
See, I think I know where he's coming from.
Jealous of what? A battle. Okay, you explain a battle.
Let me try to speak for Mark Breland in this sense. Now, if you actually watch Mark Breland, as far as his amateur fights and him actually fighting, and you look at his jab, the dude had one of the best jabs in the game. He was basically another Tommy Hearns in the sense that, of course, he didn't have the same. Wait, hold up. He's in the same sense as the Tommy Hearns that they fought the same. He just didn't have the same accolades, and he didn't hit near as hard. But when it came to his jab, the dude was a beast. The dude, as far as I don't know. I don't think you can find too many Olympic boxers unless you want to go with the heavyweights like Teofimo Stevenson or Felix Savon that actually consistently knocked out most of their competition in the amateurs. Mark Breland did that.
I disagree.
Which part?
Well, his reach was near on 77 inches, so yes, the jab is effective. But for him to be acting like he had this dominant jab when people walk for it with regularity and knocked him out, I mean, it's a full
No,
sword.
I mean, it's more than that though. Lloyd Hunningham was more than a guy who could just walk through your walk through your jab. He had a good chin. He had good power. So it's like, and then
He also had the right ability to slip jabs.
and then when you look at people like Marlon Starlin had just such a great. Well, I guess you can call it like. I guess like you said, that's peekaboo style defense that he can just get through anybody's jab. So it's.
Huntington was finished. After the Marlon started fight, Huntington was finished, basically. He finished.
Well, look. I very recently, this is what I did with Mark's comment about the jab. Very recently, I think I heard James Toney, right? He said he would have knocked out Canelo Alvarez in 2 rounds. That's what he said, right? I took that as old man shit. Like, you know what? Maybe you would have, but we'll never know. That's a hot take. Ballsy statement. And I'm a James Toney fan, so it's not like I'm gonna just say, "Oh, well, that's bullshit." You know what? He did hit fucking hard, didn't he? So I mean, it is what it is. But I filed those 2 comments in the same filing cabinet. Shit that old guys say, because I don't know. Like, and Mark's shit is worse. You said the man has no jab. Like, really? Did you see the second Andy? Like, matter of fact, forget about the second. He always uses his jab, bro. He always sets up his punches. So
if he didn't hang on. If we're saying outright, the man flat out got no jab, he ain't beating Vlad. I don't care, even though Vlad was 40-something. He ain't beating Vlad if he has no jab at all.
Take it from this perspective, Doc. Like let's look at the people on the other side of the fence who do not like Wilder. When you have a fighter, when you have a fighter like AJ, and you see him jabbing. And then a person like that same person who doesn't like Wilder says something like, "Well, Wilder doesn't have a jab." Don't you think like those people are saying like, "Well, I take real offense to that because you can clearly see Wilder has a jab. It's not nearly as proactive as others, but he has a jab." That's kind of like.
Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Well, here I want to inform Battle with something.
Hold on, let me do this. Errol Spence Jr. has a jab. Keith Thurman, it's not that he can't throw a jab, but you ain't got a jab. You don't be leading with you don't use your lead hand that way. Like you don't have a jab the way Errol has a jab. Nah. So it's that kind of relationship. Just because on occasion you throw the lead hand out there to maybe set up a punch, does that really mean you have a jab though? Like
it could mean that. Maidana's like that. You don't think so?
Parker has more of a jab to me than Wilder, even though and it's not a textbook jab; it's a short jab. He sometimes doubles up on it, but he has more of a jab. I'm more accustomed to seeing Parker throw jabs than Wilder.
Let me ask you a question.
Hang on. Here's how I would put it, Julius. Maybe this will get us in phase here. Parker has a far more educated jab than Deontay Wilder.
I'm gonna make people angry, Doc. Dillian White has a more educated jab than Deontay Wilder.
I don't disagree.
He does.
I'm fine with that statement.
I don't disagree.
I'm fine with that statement. Here's the thing, though. I think it's just two different types of jab.
Yeah, it's not that these guys, all of these guys, even the most crude guy like Maidana, you mentioned, Battle. Maidana knew, yes, he could throw a jab. He possessed the capacity, like you said, Julius, to throw a jab. But when we say, does my man have a jab, we're talking about levels.
Exactly.
How educated is that jab? Joseph Parker's jab way more educated than Wilder. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that. Now, let's look at somebody like Roy Jones. Like you almost every time you've seen this man fight, Larry Merchant is going on about how this guy threw like over 600 jabs, but yet he hasn't landed one. Roy Jones has an educated jab, but he doesn't really stab with it. He just uses the probe. He uses to set up his other punches.
Now, Roy Jones Jr., right, is not someone that I would have described as a jabber. That doesn't mean he didn't have a jab. He could throw his fucking left hand. He could throw it, yeah, but I wouldn't have described him as a jabber. No, not him.
Yeah, he liked to lead with the hook. His jab was the left hook. His jab was the left hook.
But here's the thing, though. He's in the same category as Roberto Duran. They threw it a lot. They threw it a lot to set up other punches, but they didn't stab with it like a Ali or a Larry Holmes did.
Oh,
They
no,
didn't.
no, Battle. If you're going to start talking about Duran not having jab skills, we're going to have a problem.
Well, no. That's not what I said. I said he's in the same category as Duran. They threw it a lot, but they didn't stab with it. Like Larry Holmes, they didn't pop your head back every 5 seconds doing it. They threw it a lot to set up other punches.
Battle. We're talking
Especially
about
when you watch
the
that jab.
education of the jab. I want you to go watch the jab battle between. I got homework for you, Battle, and I'm remaining as calm as I can here. Homework. Go watch. I just specifically watch the jab battle between my man Duran and this guy you may have heard of named Marvelous Marvin fucking Hagler. All right? And watch and watch how competitive in terms of how educated each of their jabs were, and then come back to me. All right? And then we'll talk. That's all I got to say.
That's a great jab off that fight. Great job off.
Here's my thing. I think you guys kind of missing the context here. There's just some. Okay, I like to watch a Cuban fighter. I mention him all the time by the name of Junior Dorticos. I love watching the guy. Now, when you look at Junior Dorticos and you decide to look at his punch stats, he throws a crap ton of jabs. But does he jab your head off, like off the body? No, he doesn't. He uses it simply to get his opponents to the rope.
But I think that, look, when we talk about if a guy's a jabber, right? I think that has a lot to do with his characteristics as a fighter. Because when I think of a jabber, I'm thinking of a guy who moves around the ring, throws straight punches, is likely to snap your head back with the jab, is likely going to lead with that all the time. That's what makes him a jabber. It's not simply the act of occasionally throwing a punch. It's that it's identifiable. I expect to see you do that, and you live up to that expectation. That's Dorticos. As far as I'm concerned, that's Dorticos more than that's a Wilder. I've seen Dorticos throw more jabs than I've seen Wilder do it. Wilder just do this shit. He just do this shit with his left hand. He just do this shit most of the time.
It's a measuring stick for him. He uses a measuring stick mainly.
Yes, which is why. I'm not trying to overcomplicate. I don't want to complicate you guys. It's just that some people prefer not to stab with the jab, and which is why we can sometimes look at a guy and be like, he doesn't have a jab. Well, actually, he is using this jab. He doesn't like to stab with it. Maybe he's not as good as he thought he was, or maybe he just doesn't like to. Some people, I remember a trainer telling me that sometimes he doesn't like to jab because he'll push his opponent too far away to get hit. So some people just like to blind with it. I
want to ask you a question, Battle. Do you consider Wilder a jabber?
He's a jabber. He's just not as educated as Joshua.
That's the question. See, Julius, that's how I would have worded the question differently. I would have asked him, do you consider him an educated jabber?
He's not a fucking jabber.
No.
I know, but we're dealing with battle here. You gotta know, you know what I mean? You gotta know who you're dealing with. You gotta know who you're dealing with. And approach it.
I'll stop playing devil's advocate.
You got to know your opponent, Sun Tzu. Come on, Ring. I know you. Come on, man. You're better than that.
No, you're right. Right. Battle, brother. I think Battle's a Capricorn. Ain't you a Capricorn?
I am a Capricorn.
So
I'm the Libra. I'm the Libra, Ring.
Brother Battle, ever the contrarian. I get it. Battle likes alternative ideas. I don't hold that against him. But if you're asking, I'll go around the board. Mark, do you consider Wilder a jabber in the jabber sense?
No, I think he's an ambush fighter.
All right, Bates, do you consider Wilder a jabber?
No.
All right, I'm gonna take it over to Beats. Beats, do you consider Wilder a jabber?
Well, in the Stavern fight, yes. Apart from that, no. I can't say no.
Because Ali is known as a jabber. Larry Holmes was known as a jabber. Lennox Lewis is known as a jabber. In that context, in that spectrum, does Wilder fit into that spectrum when it comes to his league? I say no. Now, Battle considers him a jabber of sorts. I don't see it that way.
Against the Burn,
That's fine. That's a fine opinion.
game plan, he used it. Against the Burn, he used a good jab. But here's the thing, this is like I broke that Pacquiao Floyd fight down. Like Manny basically, he'll toss that hand out, but it's basically just to set up the straight left. And Mayweather's going to see that coming all the time. All the time. But apart from the couple of times he caught him, he's going to see that coming. The jab wasn't a weapon for him. So that's why he was, and he had a shorter arm. So he's going to see that coming. Really? He should have been jabbing to Floyd's fist.
I'm gonna say to the point that Doc made, even though he tacked on an extra word to it, but it does go to the point that I'm making. It's not just whether or not you throw the lead hand, it's how effective you are with it. You have to be effective with it to be known as a jabber. We're not going to call you a jabber for a shitty jab that you don't be landing. No, if you're known as a jabber, it's because not only do you get it out there, it's effective. It connects. You set up all your punches with it. It works. In order for you to be known as a jabber, at least to me, it has to work. It's not just, oh, he throws it. Yeah, every so often he'll throw a fucking jab.
Yeah, dude, that,
that's what I was saying, Ring. I was.
Yeah, that's it. Now, hang on. Yeah, he's a puncher. He's never been a stylistically. Yeah, not at all a jabber of type style. Stylistically, not a jabber at all. You're absolutely right. He's a puncher.
So, and what I was trying to say, Ring got killed. I was just saying that there are people who have effective jabs that don't land nearly as often. It happens in boxing. They use it more of a setup punch than more of a stabbing punch. Like I said, like I mentioned Roberto Duran. Don't get me wrong. Doc just pointed me out. He just pointed out the Hagler fight, but I'm just saying it's different uses to it.
But Battle, you're gonna upset me and Beats. You better.
Here's the thing, though. What you're saying, though, is strategizing. If you're talking about someone who's actually stabbing and poking the jab, well, they're the jabber. If you're saying someone is setting up, that's not jabbing, is it? Really, in itself, they're setting up power punches. We're talking like Larry Holmes would crack and snap your head back visibly with a jab. You know what I mean? Like I said with Pacquiao, where he lost to Floyd, he would use that right hand only to flash the left. He was looking to set that left hand up with it. But you can't say he was a southpaw jabber.
I'm gonna say he was. I'm gonna say that. Look, I'm gonna say this much. We know that George Foreman had a jab. If you want to know, if you want to look at it, look at the Chavallo fight. He did have a jab.
He had a probing jab, very probing.
But he wasn't known as a jabber just because he had a jab.
If you know his fights, he's a jabber. George is a jabber.
Definitely a jabber. He jabbed people's face off.
There was a lot of articles at the time who said the most underrated quality about George is how much of a good jabber he was.
Really?
He learned his. Look who he learned his jab from. Beats.
Yeah, listen.
Okay, thank you. So don't tell me you could.
You don't think George Foreman was a good jabber?
No, I didn't say. No, I didn't say. See, now you add this shit. I didn't say.
No. Okay.
He didn't.
I literally sat here and said that the man had a good jab, but was he known as a jabber?
Now, young George.
Okay.
Now, let me get. I'll throw you a bone, Julius. Young George, right? Young George would often get away from his jab, right, and get wild and going for the kill, throwing crazy wild hooks. The older version of jab, or the older version of jab. See, I'm getting old now. Speaking of getting old, the older version of George did not make that mistake, at least not nearly as often. So it was always there. It was always there. It was something that he would occasionally, as a younger fighter, lose sight of. There we go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, yeah. When you get guys like Foreman and like Joe Louis was a jabber, but the main thing with Joe Louis you saw is people unconscious on the floor. So you're not going to say he's a jabber. You say he's a knockout puncher, but he would definitely.
Thank you for that, Beach, because that's more or less what I mean. When you think of Ali is a jabber, bro. He's a jabber. That's one of his best weapons. Vladimir Klitschko, jabber. You know, like this is a characteristic you expect of him. And I'm saying George had a jab. It's not that he didn't, but was he really known for his jab? Like, well, you think of George, this is what you think about, his lead hand. No, you think about the fucking knockouts. He's known as a power puncher. That's what he's known for. Now, Wilder to Battle's point, maybe sometimes he threw a jab. But I know damn good and well he not a jabber, bro. And he ain't known as a jabber either.
And he's not that good of a jabber either. I'm going to pile on. Sorry.
And one thing I want to add in, every time I hear the Stavern fight be brought up as a way to say in that fight he's a jabber, is that because he's a jabber or Stavern isn't? That needs to be right. That needs to, because Stavern's never had the strong jab. He's had good head movement and he can slip and move, and he uses one jab to get inside every now and then. But for the most part, no, not really a jabber. But people can jab with Stavern.
Great point.
It's more so that Stavern is not really a pressure fighter, and people think he is, but he's not. He just felt he needed to in that fight.
I'm gonna say that Gerald Washington is more of a jabber than Wilder.
Yep, I'd say that.
You know what, Julius? I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna go one step further, and you can attest. Everybody here that knows me can attest. Hang on. Everybody here can attest. I've always said I'm not a person that wants to see Wilder go away. I find him entertaining. I think he's a good puncher. I got no problem with it. Right? Bro. Who did you just say had a better jab than Wilder?
Gerald Washington, who out-jabbed Wilder for all of, what was it, 5 rounds?
He's got it. I'm going to go one better. Gerald Washington's jab is more educated than Wilder's.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing was, though, I did actually say Wilder isn't a jabber. I said in the Stavern fight, he did. That's the fight he's probably looked the best with his jab. That's all I was saying.
I'm not referring to you, Beats okay. Specific, because I've actually come across people saying Wilder's an excellent jabber. Look at the Stavern fight. I've heard that phrase so many times in the past. And it's just like it ain't. No, Stavern. The reason I didn't even reference the Andy Ruiz second fight with Joshua as to show Joshua as a jabber is because most people recognize Andy Ruiz as a pressure counter puncher, not a jabber. But against Pulev, everybody recognizes Pulev as a damn jabber and a very fucking good jabber, a crafty jabber. That's why I referenced that one, because he dominated him in the jab.
And that's how you know. That's how you know. I'm not trying to read too much into the Pulev fight. I'm not, but I'm gonna say that. Look, we all knew going into that fight that Pulev has one weapon. He has his primary weapon is his lead hand, his left hand. That's what he's got. Joshua took that away. That's how you know. Yeah, the man's got a jab. He took away your jab with his.
Exactly. So for Breland saying jab is ridiculous. It's kind of like if you watch Larry Holmes and Truth Williams. Like that fight there, you can't say Larry is a great jabber because Carl Truth had a brilliant jab himself. So
another one beats another person. A good one. If you watch Lennox Lewis versus Frank Bruno, and people hail Lennox's jab, you can't call Lennox a great jabber in that fight because he lost that jab battle.
Early on, Bruno was beating him with a jab. Yes.
Bruno. Now,
wait a minute. To that point, to that school of thought. Levels, bro. Levels. Gerald Washington took away. If Wilder's a jabber, his jab got taken away by Gerald Washington, right? Levels. Now, is Gerald Washington on the level of a Pulev? Is he on the level of a Vladimir Klitschko? Is he on the level of? No. All right, then, what are we talking about? What do we look like? No, you could be a good jabber. You could be a great jabber and have your jab taken away by another great jabber or by another great fighter, whatever. You can have these things taken away by another fighter that is at or around the same level as you. But when we're talking about Wilder, bro, Gerald Washington took away your jab. So I mean,
and let me tell you something. It's just as a fan of the sport, Julius. To be honest, to me, it's frustrating because when you look at Wilder, just frame, build, right? As the build is a box, you should be a fucking jabber. You know what I mean? You are at least a good setup jabber. You know what I mean? Or your jab should be good, but it's not. His jab is horribly uneducated. Like I just said, a football player has got a more educated jab than you. Well, no.
A soccer hooligan has a more educated jab than him. Aren't you speaking?
But Spilker's jab was excellent that fight there. Really got to pick yourself.
Oh shit!
Spilka. Well,
Bogdaninu.
yeah.
Let's
Well,
not forget
Spilka's-
Bogdaninu, part-time police officer. He's got a better jab than him too.
Member of the Romanian SWAT team, Bogdaninu. He has a better jab than Wilder. He does. I guess the point that I'm making is when you call someone a jabber, there's context already attached to that, and based on that context, no, Wilder's not a jabber. Nah.
Huey Fury at a certain level is a jabber. At a certain level.
Yeah, at a certain
he's got an educated jab. He's got an educated jab, but he don't use it much.
It's a jab, didn't he? When he fought there, he acted like he was training more than jabbing.
No, he did. He did he did what I called the dollar store Jimmy Young against the walk. That was completely different. He showed guts, went in the inside, fought him in the clinch.
I'm gonna go around the board. We're gonna move on from this. We're gonna move on because I don't really think that most of the board considers Wilder a jabber. But we're gonna move on from this, and I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm not gonna say what I think. I'm gonna save it for the video. Do you think Wilder's coming back? I'll start with Beats. Beats. All this shit that's going on you look at this shit and ask yourself, is Wilder coming back? What does your brain tell you?
My brain tells me he's still not over the Tyson Fury fight. And let me just say a little more. He's not over it. And the reason he's pricing himself out the Charles Martin fight is because he would then have to accept that there is going to be no recourse from the Tyson Fury fight. And pricing himself out also means he doesn't have to go in the ring right now either. You know what I mean? Because he must know, with the pandemic going on, performance, that there's got to be a descaling on how much he's getting right now. But pricing himself out, he doesn't have to go. No, he's not ready yet. I don't think we're going to see Wilder this year. I don't think we will.
Wow. All right. Battle. Is Wilder going to come back to boxing?
Yes, man. Money too good.
Mark, is Deontay Wilder going to come back to boxing?
No, not enough money for the money to be too good.
All right, Spade. Base the kid. Is Wilder coming back to boxing, in your humble opinion?
Possibly, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him till 2023 at the earliest.
Doc,
yeah.
Do you see this shit that's going on? That we still talking about some shit from February of last year, right? It's still going on. Does this communicate to you that Wilder's coming back?
I think it comes down to this. If full crowds in America, right? If full crowds in America are back in action, I'm gonna go 18 months or less. I say yes. He still comes back, knocks out some dudes, maybe a Charles Martin or a Kawanaki or what the fuck ever, which I'm fine with. I'll watch him. I won't pay a lot for it, but I'll watch him knock out Kawanaki and Charles Martin. That's entertaining to me. But I'll tell you this: if we go hang on, real quick, Beats. If we get into 2-3 years more of where we don't get full crowds, I think that might be the last we see of him. Might be the last we see of him.
Now, I'm going to piggyback off that question. In your heart of hearts, do you think the crowds come back this year?
In the next 12 months from right now? Oh.
No, 2021. Let's stay on 2021. From January to the end of December, do the crowds come back?
Boy, I think it's coin flip. It's a coin flip, them coming back in the last 3 months of that cycle then. It's a coin flip, and you know what I mean. And I wouldn't bet you. I wouldn't bet any money. I'd be like Dwyer. I'd be like Dwyer saying, I'd stay away. I'd stay away, bro. I'd stay away from that bet.
Because the only way I see the crowds, and I'm talking about capacity crowds, the only time frame that I see capacity crowds returning to the American boxing scene is maybe November, maybe. And that's me being optimistic, because if it's just me being me, the crowds ain't coming back this year, fellas.
Can I ask a question? How much money did he leave on the table against Charles Martin?
I mean, we don't know that number. That we don't know.
No idea.
But I imagine that the minimum number I think that he would accept is probably $10 million, maybe
Yeah,
15.
Because I heard rumors anywhere from 6 to 9 million on that, right? Anywhere. And if that's what he left on the table, they need full capacity crowds to be able to bankroll 10 million. They need it.
Yeah.
Exactly. To pay him, that's what I'm getting at. To pay him, you're gonna have to have full crowds. You're gonna have to be able to have full crowds.
Well, this goes back to the argument that I've been making the whole time that, you know, and a lot of guys, they don't understand this, but I know that all of you guys do. Just because Fox has 9 million or 10 million or 50 or 100, that don't mean they finna get that shit to your motherfucking ass. They're gonna look at you. What you want $9 million for? Like,
Don't they have a $2.7 billion lawsuit against them right now? So as well, Fox.
some bullshit. I don't know, some bullshit. The idea here is nobody's in the business of giving away money, you know, even if they have it.
And if you look at the landscape right now, the heavyweight championship is not in America for the next 2 fights, maybe 2022, maybe or whatever. Why are they going to pay you $9 million? What exactly? Then what are you going to do with your career after that's going to benefit the network? What is it you're going to do after you knock out Charles Martin?
Exactly.
What's that?
Well, it's longer than that, Beats, because all the mandatories are also in Europe. I mean, Povetkin and White are the mandatories with the WBC. They haven't got an IBF mandatory yet, but that won't be for another 18 months anyway.
I got
the WBO, the WBO mandatory is over there with Usyk and Joyce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
just real quick.
Hold on. I want to say this.
Yeah.
He doesn't get unless he does some super dramatic shit or someone out of the sheer kindness of their fucking heart affords him an opportunity. This man don't fight for a title for 2 years.
Oh, that's a separate. That I agree with that wholeheartedly. But if we had full American crowds, I do think a Wilder Kawanaki in Chicago, where we got the big Polish contingent. If we have full crowds, I think that could be big. I think isn't there a big Polish contingent out there in New York area?
Yeah,
one of the what I'm getting at, title thing, I completely agree with you. But if we get, if we got crowds back in time enough before he gets too old or just loses the heart for it, there are big fights for him. Not maybe titles, but big fights.
I'm telling you, how old is this guy right now? 36, 35, going on 36?
36, yeah.
He sits out another year. This is a guy, remember, this is a guy that don't skip rope because he don't want to. In a nutshell, you don't want to. That's why you don't do that. The man don't skip rope. The man don't hit the speed bag. The man don't do road work. In a nutshell, the reason is really because you don't want to. You don't think you have to. This was you at your best. Look, acting like that. What's he doing on the couch eating fucking Hot Pockets? What's that going to do to him?
If you want the truth, the next live buddy he fights, he gets knocked out again.
It might be
That's
my man.
question I want
It might be my man F.A. Lennox, you listening to that shit? The Nigerian.
Oh, hot take, F.A. That's right. What about Kawanaki?
Let Beats go. He can try to say the same thing.
Yeah. All I've got to do right now is fight someone hungry and in the zone, and strategize well. And I see him get. I'm not saying it. Look, I'm not trying to say because Tyson Fury could do it. Anyone did. I just see right now, Wilder is not getting no physically stronger. Like he tried to weigh a lot last time. He's not getting no physical. He's not getting no faster. People know if you put pressure on him, you can get results. Just like Drew Hopkins did. Swell up his eye, you know what I mean? And he's struggled in that. And he's not a great boxer. You can set a tempo. Like Eric Molina was saying the other day. If you stand in front of Wilder with your hands up like that, just waiting for it to blast you like Dominic Brazil, then you're finished.
Yeah.
You got a good set of legs, a good jab by oh, you can set it on him. You can set it on him.
Can I ask a question, right? Normally, when a fighter is in a fight, right, and sometimes they can take mental damage from that fight, right? How different could that actually make Wilder overall as a fighter, having that type of beating and not being able to accept it? Because in anything I do in my life, if I fail and I fail miserably bad, bro, that makes it really hard for me to even want to attempt it again, let alone be good at it.
I'm gonna say this. Damn, I don't want. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that shit. But what I'm gonna say is, all right, you talking about a guy, right? Just characteristically, Wilder was not a prolific puncher. He don't go out there throwing a whole bunch of fucking punches, right? And this was before Fury did what he did to him, right? Remove his confidence. How many punches is he gonna throw after that? Because he already didn't throw a lot of punches. He's looking to hit you one time, one good time, bang, one good time. You don't throw a lot of punches. If you remove this man's confidence, you let him sit on the couch eating potato salad and Hot Pockets every day for 12 months. What's that going to do to his work rate, which already wasn't, he already wasn't a volume puncher. That's why I'm saying I don't even know that and I'm not saying that to take piss out of anybody. I literally don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know. Daniel Dubois lost to Joe Joyce after Wilder lost to Fury, right? We already have an idea when Daniel's coming back. We have an idea, April. Wilder is still in the air. We don't know. We should know more by now. We know you're not going to fight Fury. We know that. But what we don't know is, okay, who are you going to fight and when? Why don't we know? Do you want to come back?
Well, see, I want to say the shit I'm saying. But basically, this is why the old school fighters are great. Like Sugar Ray Robinson lost to Ralph Tiger Jones, basically a gatekeeper. And with a month of that loss, he was back in the ring again. He was like, oh, I'm traumatized. I lost to a gatekeeper. It's over. He came back to his shit and started fighting.
He had railroad spikes in his glove.
Like, Wilder is making it worse and worse by not just, look, you wanted to fight, fair enough. I think you cheated. Yeah, cool. But draw a line under it, man. No one, but you can't do it, can you? You can't do it. It's this, I don't, the ego, the entitlement, that's why he just can't become a great fighter. He's just stuck in his role. You know what I mean?
I agree because if you are of the mindset, right? I want like just let's put it this way. Let's say you want revenge, but you can't get it, but you're angry and you want revenge. It's not even a confidence issue. If you really feel, right, yo, this motherfucker cheated and I can't wait to fuck his ass up, right? You find out, well, you can't fight him because he's busy. Give me someone to fight, please. I need to let this out. I got to let this out. I got to hit somebody. I got to hit something. I got to knock somebody out. If you want to fight, not this shit. Not this. Like, no, you put an anvil in there. Mark Breland hates me.
Look at Erickson Lubin when he got knocked out by the Charles. How long was he out the ring? He was out the ring for about 2 years or something like that, man.
It was quite a while now that you mentioned it. Yep.
For ages, bro. Like, look, you got knocked into the bad knockouts, but look, you get clearance from the commission. You know, you do a suspension because you're knocked out, and you get back in the league. 4 or 5 months, you should be taking somebody on. And in 6, 7 months, you should be looking to fight ranked contenders and getting back in there.
Do you remember? Look, even to Wilder's trainer's credit, he got knocked out by Marlon Starling. He was back in the ring with him 4 months. He was back in the ring in the December. He got knocked out in the August in '87. He's back in the ring.
Yeah, he's the previous trainer, Joey Farrell. See, that's old school mentality, you know what I mean? You can't sit down and also you can't sit down and sulk. You can't sit down and sulk. You got to do something. Do something.
Yeah, he should have been fought.
Another point I want to make is he's not even addressing the boxing community at large with public statements per se. He's addressing a specific crowd that he already knows likes his ass. You're not talking to everybody, your critics, your naysayers, and your supporters alike. Because you psychologically, I don't really think you want to be in front of them. Because you just talking to these cats, feel me? Like, you just talking, like, let me call my man up because I know he on my dick. So let me call him, and I'm going to talk through him. And I'm going to get out my information through him. Now, tell the world, why don't you? Look, man, I want Fury as soon as Fury's available. I want the winner of that fight. This is not over. I was cheated, and this is not over. If you want to fight. If you don't want to fight, Mark Breland, water. That's what happens, man.
See, look at Dylan White. Like, they're saying he's having to move the training camp to Spain because the corona is not having. But, you know, he's back in the ring soon, very soon.
If it wasn't for the Rona, he would have been back in the ring in, wasn't it November? He got knocked out in the August and back in November. Fuck, bro.
Derek, he loses to Usyk. A couple of weeks later, he's ready to go in there with Dillian for the third time.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you want to fight. If you want to fight.
He said because the Veckin thing, he'll be the replacement opponent for White on the day. He was ready to go again 2 weeks later.
Not just but 2 weeks, because he wants to fight. Like, Derek is a fight, and motherfuckers wonder why I like him, but he's a fighting dude, bro. Like, he don't care about all that shit we be talking about. I want two things. I want to fight and I want to get paid. That's good enough for me.
That's right.
Good enough for me. I take it. I like that. All right.
Because that's your job. You're paid to fight. If you're not willing to be paid and you're not willing to fight, you ain't doing your job. I can't go up to work and just be like, oh, you're paying me? Cool. I'm not going to work. I'm fired.
Word. I'm like, yo, now, we still here, and I don't want to give too much away because I got a lot of thoughts on what he told Mark, and I don't want to give too much of that away. But in a nutshell, I see a dude that, like, yo, dog, like, you fuck around, don't come back. You fuck around, don't come back because you want some other shit. For you, is it really about revenge, bro? You should be telling Al, I want you to line up all of our heavyweights so that I can knock all of them out until I get the Fury. I can't get the Fury right now, but I need to knock somebody out. All right, so find somebody.
Well, we wouldn't. You know what? Even if he can't, okay, if say he can't get Fury, why isn't he trying to get the next best thing for his legacy and his resume? Yeah, like you said, line them up, Al. Let me spark out Charles Martin, Kawanaki, fucking, let me knock out Ortiz again. Whoever the fuck else you can come up with, put them in front of me, and I'll pile them up.
And they have guys. It's not even like they don't like. All right. You did what you did with Brazil. You did what you did with Stavern. You did what you did with Gerald Washington. But there still is Adam Kovnowski. There still is Charles Martin. Not they ass.
You mentioned Ajagba.
Well, Ajagba left. Ajagba's with Top Rank.
Oh, that's right. My bad. You're right.
See Anthony Joshua yet? Ruiz. We see him in America off the right in the fight. Gave Ruiz the drops. And he was on it already. Like, y'all want the rematch. And he get the rematch.
And now I'm going to have a Joshua appreciation moment. I don't care who don't like it. Joshua, he didn't sit there saying all this shit. Not all this shit, right? He lost the goddamn fight. Look, Ruiz was the better man. I'm going to get that back in the rematch. It's that simple. People telling him not to fight. People telling him, fight somebody else. People telling him, take it. No, I'm going to fight him. At the end of the year, I'm going to fight him. I ain't going to say a whole lot of shit. I don't want to say a whole lot of shit. I'm going to fight him. He fought him. He got his belts back. Because he wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Well, nah, you don't want to fight, dude, bro.
Here's the one reason why Wilder's not going to do it. Sorry if I'm taking up too much time, right? The reason he's not going to take it up too much time is because the resume early, he was fighting garbage opponents. When he could have fought Klitschko, he didn't fight him. When he could have fought Charles Martin, he didn't fight him. And I'm talking Vlad and Vitaly, right? So it's hard to change that mentality. While over here, we pitched Dylan and Joshua in earlier, you get in there and you fight. So it's different for them. It's totally different. They don't expect no favors. I think Wilder expects favors, man. You know what I mean?
Now look at Joe Joyce. If Joe Joyce was a PBC fighter, after beating Daniel Dubois, he fights lighter touches for 4 years. If he's a PBC fighter,
yeah, his next fight isn't going to be an undisputed cruiserweight champion,
right? You see what I mean? Now you see, Joe wants to fight. After the fight, he thinking about the next one. Usyk, I want your ass, Usyk. I ain't forget about. I still want your ass because he wants to fight. Joe wants to fight. If he was a PBC fighter like Wilder, nah, I'm gonna keep busy with the rank 50, rank 60 guys of the world. If he's a PBC fighter, but Joe wants to smoke. Joe is with the shit. Joe wants Usyk. Joe wants the winner of Fury versus Joshua. Joe already got a big fight lined up. It's damn near done. The fight is damn near done for April because he wants to fight. Wilder, now think about that in the time frame of between now and the second Fury versus Wilder fight, Joe fought Daniel Dubois, and he likely will make his ring return before Wilder because Wilder don't want to fight. You don't want to fight.
I'll
bro.
say this.
Cut you a check.
Daniel Dubois took a knee in the fight with Joe Joyce, right? He took a knee. He had a very serious eye injury, and there's a possibility Daniel Dubois will return before Wilder.
That's
Yeah.
No, see the thing with Daniel, pitching him in like that, like you could say that was bad matchmaking, but it's simple swimming with Daniel. Daniel's either going to get extremely tough in this, or he's going to know he can't cut it. But one way or the other, he's going to be waiting 3 or 4 years to know if he can fight his career-defining fights. He knows that. He knows what it takes. He knows what it takes.
Exactly. The bottom line for me is Wilder, and I've been saying it, regardless of what Mark Breland said very recently, the mission statement, what I take away from all of it is this dude don't behave like a fighter. He behaved like a WWE superstar. That's what he is. That's what a lot of them guys is to me. Look at Keith Thurman. Bro, can you have you ain't got you know what? Wait, because I'm getting mad, right? Look, fuck the Crawford shit, fuck the Spence shit. Can you at least have a tune-up so that at least I can believe this a little more? Because I'm not going to believe none of that shit until you have a tune-up. I don't believe you would fight Crawford or for over a year of inactivity. I don't believe that. So if you want to sell that dream, can you at least have a tune-up first? And what do we see? Has he got a tune-up? Has he?
You know what I want to? You know what, Julius? You know what I want to see? I want to see him do a more convincing job against Josecito Lopez than the last time when he almost got knocked the fuck out.
Yo, Josecito's a very well improved fighter. I'm just saying.
Yes,
I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Since he got with Robert Garcia, he's been getting better and better.
I'm gonna say
That's
this.
why I'm not joking. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. The guy's lazy. If he would have just went out there and had a shitty little fight for like $1 million or something like that, shitty little fight, you know, against whoever, right?
Imagine having a shitty little fight and being able to make $1 million.
But this is what I mean. You go out there in 2020. You just want to get out there to shake the cobwebs off so that when 2021 get here, you ready to do something better. You would have been in a pole position. All right, I had my tune-up fight. Hey, Ugas, you want to put that belt on the line against me? Nah, you fucking waited. And now what you're hoping for is that Ugas will give enough of a fuck about you to defend his belt against you because he's a champion and you are still inactive. Mikey Garcia did the same fucking thing. He did the same thing. Like, bro, you could have got out there, had a little $1 million shit show fight, little $1 million gimme fight. You could have did that. Nah, you want to wait for everybody, right? Now Pacquiao done left you high and dry. Nobody want to see you fight Arrow again. We know you don't want to fight Crawford. We know. And nobody can fuck about you. That's what.
Julius, can I interject a little change of pace from your interview with Lou DeBell? Like, you see, he was speaking about the networks, and it's the same over here. They didn't have exclusive deals with promoters that you was able to get different promotional outfits working with each other because there was no exclusive deals for the promoter.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Like,
well, I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. It feeds it. Exclusivity deals. The pro of that is that you get a budget. You get certain things guaranteed. That's the pro. But in the greater scheme of things and the bigger picture, no, it's not good for the sport because you stuck over there. And anytime you try to leave, it's gonna be some bullshit. So exclusive. So yeah, it might be good for the promoter, for that specific promoter, but for the sport of boxing, no, of course it's not, bro. It fucks everything up. It need to go back like buy shows, buy cards, Don't buy promotional outfits. Don't get in bed with them. Only
There's
stage
too many
the best
channels,
fights.
Julie.
Only stage the best fights. And if you get into bed with them, you put them in a position where they know I don't got to put on the best fights because you got to deal with me. You got to put on my shit. You got to put on my shit. So I could put on this watered down bullshit. I could put it on. Hey man, we got to deal. You got to show my shit.
See, Julius, back in the day when it was ABC, NBC, CBS, when it came to free TV, an exclusivity deal would not be as big of a problem. In this modern era where you've got 356 fucking channels, however many streaming services, and all these, you know what I mean, all these different, outlets for media to compete with, it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem for you to be exclusive to one little narrow area.
I'm going to make it worse, Doc. Network television, the network era of television is fucking dying. It's becoming the way we watch entertainment now is all impulse shit. Like, oh, I want to see this show specifically. I don't want to watch this whole fucking channel.
That's true. That's very true.
Yep, very true.
That's gonna affect that's gonna affect the role that network television has in the American household and many households around the world the next 5 years, because it's not like before where you come across some shit because you be watching so much fucking Fox. Bro, I could watch Fox shows and not watch Fox.
Exactly. Like, I'm gonna say this, right? Julius, yeah? Like, I'm part of this modern era, the stream and everything, right? Big time part of it, like Netflix on the go, Amazon Prime, Hulu, fucking you name it. Got a Crunchyroll even for the anime people out there, the weeps, right? I know I don't have to wait around anymore, like back in 1998 or whatever, until 9 p.m. to watch whatever TV show I wanted to watch, whether it was on ITV or Sky One or whatever. I know I can literally turn on Netflix and watch my favorite series and binge watch it in like 4 days and I'm good. I just watched House of Cards the other day, the entire thing. Like every episode. I don't have to wait 27 fucking months to be able to watch 2 seasons.
Listen, man. All right. My wife, she has this fucking firefighter show. I think it comes on Fox. I'm pretty sure it comes on Fox. I don't really watch TV unless it's for Fox and the news. So I don't watch fucking Fox, right? But I get to see Angela Bassett's ass cheeks and all of that, rescuing people and fighting fires and shit. And I don't even fucking watch Fox. That's what it's said. They're like, yo, the role of network television in the American household will diminish because everything is impulse buys now. I don't need to watch Fox to watch Fox shows. I could watch on some other shit, on some other platform or some other bullshit.
Exactly.
And that is
people they're binge watching on Netflix and stuff like that, I guess, in England and America, around the world. See, the thing is, like, if you're dealing with the UK, like, the reason Dennis Lewis, right, left Frank Maloney is because he said that Frank Maloney was basically working for Frank Warren. And so, but the good thing about that was if Frank didn't have any good cards, maybe Maloney didn't had a card. And like, before Eddie became the big cheese, you had Maloney, Frank Warren, the Herms, Hennessy. So there was more cards on Sky. They might not be all great quality because the budgets weren't there. But with Eddie just monopolizing it, you could argue that we could even get a better service from Sky. Even though people are saying it's good, it could be even better if we had more competition. You know?
I agree with you, Beats. Like, even though Eddie's monopolized it as well, he has, like, and he's put on, like, more production value shows. The best shows, they're all on box office. They are all on box office. Very rarely do we get anything part of our subscription. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying 45 quid a month to watch Joe Cordina as a headline. I'm sorry, he's a prospect. He should be on the undercard. Like, right now, I shouldn't be waiting for a Coley to be a co-main or whatever to Dillian White or whatever. I should be watching a Coley on Saturday night versus Glavatsky in a world title fight on regular Sky Sports as part of my subscription. That shouldn't be part of a pay-per-view.
I guess that I'm spoiled because when all of that shit comes on, see, the people that have Sky subscriptions over there in the United Kingdom, they feel that they getting shafted because all of this shit. So Dillian White next fight got to be a pay-per-view, and this got to be pay-per-view, and that got to be a pay-per-view, and I get to watch all of those delicious, tasty ass fights as part of my subscription. So I'm spoiled. I can't complain. I cannot complain.
Yeah, but I'm getting Canelo Saunders for €2.
Yeah, but at the same time, look at us. We're bitching because they're going to put the undisputed heavyweight championship on for £40, while you guys are paying 75, 80 for years. And we're out here. They're saying that they ain't paying it. They're going crazy out here.
Listen, I understand that the pay-per-view price, right? And the difference between us and America, right? Because I pay the same pay-per-view prices as you beats, but you know the difference in subscription fees. Like, they have stuff on Fox and they have everything else. Like Sky Sports and BT Sports alone in 1 year cost more than every network combined subscription fee plus every pay-per-view in America, just for the subscription fees without our pay-per-views.
I'll say the chickens have come home to roost in the United Kingdom because I feel that they had it good. Y'all had it good for a while. Y'all had it good. But now that the business is booming, they want to price gouge y'all. That's what's going on. They price gouging y'all. Like, what? Wait a minute. With all the fucking money that's already being poured into this shit, why the fuck are you raising the price? There's already a lot of money being poured into this shit. It's DAZN money, Saudi Arabia money, Sky Sports money, all these different broadcasters around the world that are paying you a flat fee to show the fight, the ones that aren't already with DAZN in the regions where DAZN maybe doesn't operate, whatever. There's plenty of money in the pot already, and you want to charge the British boxing community more money?
Now, I want to make clear this is a question. Is it because more people are buying? Because over the last 10 years, UK boxing has been on an uptick? Because, I mean, that's just basic economics. More people buy, the sellers move the price up. Because, you get what I mean?
No,
Supply
I mean,
and demand.
It's just that we've seen over time, hindsight is 20/20, right?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in if it ain't broke, then don't fucking fix it. So if you got customers that used to paying £20 for a goddamn fight, then don't fucking change it. They're used to paying £20. If you change it, you're gonna fuck it up, and you're gonna get a lot of disgruntled customers, and it's gonna start to dwindle because they're gonna be like, "No, bro, I'm not giving you 40 fucking pounds, bro. No."
And I reckon if they keep Joshua Fury down to £20, I reckon they could break the 4 million pay-per-view mark. I reckon they could.
Yes.
I'll do you one better, Beats. I'll do you one better. I genuinely think they'll do 5 if they keep it at 19.95. I think they'll do 5 million.
I can see it doing 5. I can see it doing 5.
If they put it to 25, I think it does less than 4. That's being honest. Just that fiver alone will piss people off. People are frugal.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know that you have a steady subscriber base and you have a steady stream of customers that are accustomed to paying this amount of money for a pay-per-view. So don't fuck it up. You're getting their money already. Don't fuck it up getting greedy. I feel like, you're going to deter customers with that price point. They don't want to pay that. No, bro, not £40, bro. This is 2 times as much as it was 4 years ago. You think people are gonna like that? That's not gonna bring in new customers.
I noticed something, right? This is just me, right? Because I'm in Ireland, right? For the Dillian White fight with Quebec, it was $19.95 in the UK pounds, right? In Ireland, it was €24.95, right? But they did something they've never done to me. They've never ever done to me. They charged me an international tax of $3.50. That's never happened, never once. So instead of me spending 25, it was 28. When I bought the Joshua one, that was at 28 for me, right? It was at a standard 28 because it went up to 24.95. That was 28 for me. It cost me $32.50 all of a sudden. So now, because of the Brexit situation, Irish people who have to use Sky to be able to watch these things, because that's the only way, we're being done international tax on the fights as well.
In a nutshell, a lot of people are really fucking greedy. Now, gentlemen, it's been a stimulating conversation. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to upload another video before the night is over. All of y'all stay safe and COVID-free, because that's the way to be.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it as always.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right.
Gentlemen.